Breaking news.
Drama! Yes, drama when it comes to Manchester United.
It's all kicking off.
Man United won't break the bank for him. And if Man United won't break the bank for him, they've got other targets.
Yes. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to United View. Hope everyone is doing very well. Brand new intro for the Transfer View indeed. And guys, we've got to talk. We've got to talk about something that we know has been a problem at Manchester United for a long time. There is a cultural issue, an attitude issue at Manchester United, isn't there? Just last night, we saw Alejandro Garnacho take to social media wearing a shirt with the name on the back of Marcus Rashford. It wasn't just any shirt. It was an Aston Villa shirt. Now, some of you may say, who cares about the social media chatter? Who cares about what people do online? It's what's on the pitch that matters. And you're absolutely right when it comes to that. But what it does is just highlight this massive discrepancy with players at Manchester United who have egos, attitudes, chips on their shoulder, but abilities that don't match it. It's always played out in the media, isn't it? It's always played out in the press or on social media nowadays of going back and forth. I didn't refuse to play. I didn't refuse to train. Sources in the dressing room say this. Sources inside Carrington say that. And what happens yesterday? We see more games being played. We see more games being played off the pitch than we do on it. Certainly next season, because we're not going to be playing that many games. We're not even in Europe. What we see is Alejandro Garnacho. He knows what he's doing. Of course, he knows what he's doing. When all of these players come out and do these things in the press, put these social media posts out there, they know what they're doing. They're sending a message without even speaking any words. It's a shirt of an opposition team. It's a player that, just like Alejandro Garnacho, has been exiled, banished, or Manchester United are looking to sell. It's solidarity with his fellow player, fellow teammates that's being pushed out of the club. And do you know what I say when it comes to all of this? I say, just go. Just go. This is the same reason why Garnacho can go, Rashford can go, Jadon Sancho can go. It's the same reason why any of these players that have had issues at Manchester United the last 3, 4, 5 years, or however long it's been, it's just more noise. And I don't know about you guys. I'm just tired of it. I'm just completely tired of it. I'm tired of the constant social media chatter. I'm tired of the constant subliminal messages. I'm tired of the, he's posted this on his Insta story, or he's posted this on X, or he liked this. I'm just tired of it. And going into next season, from where we have been last season, rock bottom, worst Premier League season ever, the last thing we need is more ego and more attitude. And that's it. That's it. Move them on. It looks like it's a situation where both parties want the same outcome. Just leave. This is the Transfer View. We're going to be talking all things Manchester United in the transfer market, incomings, outgoings as well. We're going to be talking about rumblings as we get closer to pre-season. We're going to be talking about what's expected for the week ahead. So be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe. A little bit of a new feel this morning. You noticed that? Some new threads we've got going on here on the Transfer View. New logo, new overlay, new intro. Yeah, new intro. Drama. This will become a new catchphrase of mine, isn't it? Drama. Big up to Just Josh being a graphic guru visual ninja, because it's just tip of the iceberg here at United View. Just tip of the iceberg for some really fun stuff we've got planned over the summer. Really exciting stuff we've got planned when it comes to pre-season. And you know how it goes indeed. So yes, very, very excited. Very excited indeed. Look, there he is. Just Josh Media, graphics guru, visual ninja. I feel like my internet's doing a bit of a madness. Is it back? Who knows? Who knows? I froze. I tell you what, it was just when I was giving praise to Just Josh Media, which is it makes entire sense, really, doesn't it? You know, it's I praise Just Josh Media. What happens? You know, things break. It's kind of the universe sending a bit of a message, isn't it? A bit of a message, that one. I don't know what it is the last few days. StreamYard doesn't like me. Last few weeks, StreamYard's just not a fan. It's not a fan of me. But yes, Just Josh Media doing the Lord's work, and he will continue to do so over the summer as we get closer to preseason, closer to tour, and closer, hopefully, to new signings being put through the door. Yeah. So if you haven't already, click the like button. We've already got close for over 800 people watching. We're already over 100 likes. Let's see if we can get to 500. So Lowen, Owenology, Minecraft View, Roblox View. Tabra says, Owen asked us about the weather. How's the weather, Tabrez? It's you know what, it's a bit cooler now, which I'm happy with. The sort of heat wave's over, so enough of that chatter. Bit rainy. Well, I tell you what, over the weekend we had some big thunder and lightning storms. Legitimately, one was the loudest sort of thunder and lightning storm I've ever been in. It was, and it must have been above my house. It was one of those ones where it went flash that quick, and it was so loud. I was like, "Oh my goodness me!" I was shitting bricks at the time. It was mental, absolute mental. So that was my weekend. How about you? A couple of early super chats, then we'll get to these transfer stories, I promise. Show says, no need to panic, Owen. We have an elite structure. Hey, it's the first day of a new week. And of course, I mean, Show's got to come in with his trademark textbook sarcastic super chat. It's good. Yeah. That might be the Show sound every time he puts in a super chat, you know. And it's what's funny is when you do talk to Show on the full-time view, he's very serious. He's very calls it how he sees it. And he's actually not as sarcastic in real life as the super chat would suggest. But on the super chat, he's always in there, sarcastic. You know, no need to panic. We've got an elite structure. Go very dry, Show, very very dry. Amanor says, Owen, I'm putting 50 Kev coins on Mbumo and Cunha. So much so that he decided to say it twice. So that's where Amanor is this morning. He's going twice with the Kev coins. I mean, same. Was that 50? Does that count as 50? I'm not sure. But yes, let's talk about this Alejandro Garnacho Instagram post, shall we? Because it's a lot more of a complex issue. So as you can see on the screen right there, this was what it was yesterday. We kind of spoke about this a little bit on the full view yesterday. Alejandro Garnacho took to social media on his Instagram and posted a picture of himself wearing a Marcus Rashford shirt, an Aston Villa Marcus Rashford shirt, that is, not a Manchester United Marcus Rashford shirt, not an England Marcus Rashford shirt, but an Aston Villa Marcus Rashford shirt. Marcus Rashford responded to him saying, "My brother," with the love heart. And like I said at the beginning, you know, it's just stuff like this. It's just constant, isn't it, at United? And in my opinion, what this is, if anyone tries to say that this is, well, Garnacho, what's wrong with Garnacho just posting a photo? You know, what's wrong with Garnacho just posting a photo? It's not just there's nothing innocent about it. You know, let's wipe that from your mind of no, just shouting out his mate. He's just shouting out his friend. You know, that's all he's doing. He's good friends with Rashi. Just showing him some love. That's it. That's what it is. Just showing him some love. It's not that, is it? Obviously, he knows what he's doing. It's sending a message without having to say any words. You know, not only is it a shirt of an opposition team, it's the shirt of a player that's also being, you know, forced out. Another academy player that's being forced out. It's one of those ones. Now, am I absolutely furious with it? Am I like, well, this is the straw that broke the camel's back, and this is the reason why Alejandro Garnacho has to go? No, because he obviously was going to go anyway. It's just made it. It's just got even more sour, isn't it? Really, you know. And I'm sure if you ask Alejandro Garnacho, because it's always important to try and see things from other people's perspectives, I'm sure from his perspective, he'll be like, well, I was told That I was told that in front of the entire squad, you better pray. You better pray you find a new club over the summer. You better pray that. So fuck them, basically. I'll go on my Instagram and I'll post me in a shirt of another Premier League team and of Rashford, who also is being pushed out like me. Yeah, I'll do that. Screw them. Whatever. Whatever. To be honest, as long as it results in Garnacho leaving and not leaving for a cut price, getting a reflective and fair value, which I still think is like 50 million-ish, not 40, 50, 60, something along those lines, then so be it. And with him, I mean, he says he wants to stay and play in the Premier League. I think there's reports this morning saying that there are lots of clubs that are interested in Man United's stances, pay us the value and we'll let him go. I don't even think that's really sort of groundbreaking news, is it? You could say that probably about any player at Man United. Pay what Man United deemed them to be worth, and then they'll be sold. Garnacho's no different. Ruben Amorim is clearly not a fan. He's not a fan of Garnacho. Well, I say he's not a fan. He persisted with him throughout the season, which is, more to be said than someone like Rashford, who he completely washed his hands with and just went, no, I can't even do that. But Garnacho clearly isn't a fan of. Rashford clearly isn't a fan of. So they should go. Anthony, clearly not a fan of. So they should go. What I will say is credit to Anthony for trying, to be willing to take a pay cut. It's just a case of the transfer fee. He wants to go to Real Betis. It might be one of those ones, maybe a bit like Rashford, where you say, Anthony, you're just going to have to live in reality a little bit here. Real Betis can't afford you for the value that they're looking for. So you might have to go elsewhere. But, credit to him for trying to get that done. Meanwhile, you've got sort of Rashford still clinging on to the Barca dream. I'd love to play with you, Mal. Who wouldn't? And weather's nice in Spain, isn't it? Weather's good there, and it's pretty close, so my family can go out. It's only sort of a 3-hour flight, so that would be good. That might as well come out on his Instagram, wear a Barcelona shirt on the back of it saying "Please." That's what it should be. And he would, I think, with any of them, it should be get real. Every single one of them. Get real for the variety of different reasons. So let's start with Anthony. Anthony, get real. Real Betis probably can't afford you. But if you want to take a pay cut, great. There's definitely going to be options for you out there. You had a really good second half of the season on loan. So that one's can happen. Sancho, get real. Your wages, Chelsea weren't willing to pay your wages. I can't even believe we were stupid enough to give that contract. Maybe, at the time, because you'd had some good seasons in Dortmund, put some really good numbers on the board, and you were young, potential. But now, get real. No one's going to give you that contract. No one, unless you go to Saudi, which you didn't want to do last time, nobody's going to give that contract. So get real. Otherwise, you're just going to be languishing at United again. And, you said previously that leaving United was freedom. So you don't want freedom? Surely you'd want to leave. Rashford, get real. Barca move, it's not happening. Barca move's not happening. They're going after Nico Williams. You've got Deco coming out there. I think yesterday or the day before, going, yeah, we're trying for Nico Williams, and them. They'll be pulling all those levers. They'll be like an old granny at the penny machines in a casino, pulling those levers. They'll be trying everything to get Nico Williams, pulling those levers as much as they can. And the only chance you've got is if somehow that doesn't happen. But even then, if they can't afford Nico Williams, how are they going to afford you? I know that is that the one club you're willing to take a pay cut for. So again, get real. You've got a World Cup on the horizon. It might even be one of your last World Cups. And you're on the periphery of the squad. You're just getting back in. But if you don't play, and you have the same situation you had at United for another half of the season or a full season, Thomas Tuchel won't pick you. There's a lot of options in that front line. A lot. Granted, by some of the squads that Thomas Tuchel has selected so far, who fucking knows who he'll pick, because he's been picking Jordan Henderson. So who knows? Who knows with Thomas Tuchel? And then you would go to Garnacho. Once again, get real. you're young. I'm one of those people, not that sort of defended him, but I do push back on Garnacho's not good, because I don't think there's any need to lie. And Garnacho's not even that good. Of course he's good, for his age and what he's done so far at Manchester United, the amount of games that he's played and big matches he's played and goals that he's scored. Yeah, he's good. But get real. You are not Cristiano Ronaldo. And you are not going to be this hybrid of your heroes, which is Ronaldo, Messi fusion. You're not. Who knows what you're going to be in the future? Definitely not right now. And you cannot be carrying around that level of ego. You cannot do that. Yeah, even at a club that's massively in the mud, like us. Yeah, 15th in the Prem. Worst season ever. But don't be going around like your shit don't stink. Because it, just like everyone else, it does. And when it comes to your future and where you want to go, I'm sure Garnacho will have a lot of options because he's young. He's not on huge wages. And people would be trying to buy potential there. But get real, because when you do stuff like this, you do make other people, and this was kind of Kenny's point last night, you do make some people reconsider. You get some people that maybe they're interested in Garnacho and they see that and they go, that's a bit messy, isn't it? Not the player, as in Messy. It's a bit of a messy departure. It's a bit, and a couple of managers have had sort of issues, and there's the social media stuff, and I don't know. And it's when I go back to, there's a cultural problem, and I really do think there has to be some look at the culture that's being created. I mean, we talk about culture a lot at United of, senior players of all the time, the entitled rich players and, senior players doing this and doing that. But I think also, just as much as that culture needs to be completely reformed and completely overhauled, I think United, they have to have a really good look at the culture of players coming through the Manchester United Academy from early age groups right until if they make it into the first team. Because let's face it, over the last few years, Garnacho, Rashford, you've got other players, Brandon Williams. I go back to people like Darren Gibson. I go back to, look, even like Ryan Giggs. And he's one of our most successful players. But I'm talking about issues off the pitch. And I would be lying here if, of course, Mason Greenwood, I'd be lying here if I sat here and go, well, that is concerning. Like there is this pattern of sort of young players coming through with, either attitude problems or off the field problems or what have you. And I don't know how there has to be some kind of cultural change. There has to be some kind of cultural change at United. And I don't know if this is the challenge nowadays with younger players coming through, because of course, football is so money driven. It's all about money. And it's all about, DJ mentioned it last night on the Full View, about agents latching on and bad people surrounding them and advising them. How do you fix that? How do you get a cap on that? Someone like Sir Alex had a very good cap on all of that. And because he controlled everything, didn't like them going to certain agents, didn't like them having certain people around them, would ship them out if he wasn't happy with the people that were surrounding them and what have you. And it is a concern that some of these players, and maybe it's because of the money, maybe it's because it's the modern day player in this generation. I spoke about this yesterday too, with the instant feedback of social media. Whilst you have the bad side of social media, which of course Manchester United experienced, someone like Marcus Rashford, of course, absolutely experienced that. He was one of the most abused athletes on social media. But there's also the counter side of that is you've also got this huge pool of people constantly telling you how great you are too, particularly after you've had a great game. And if you're a young person, it's difficult not to buy into that. I mean, we talk about sort of positive affirmations, don't we? From a Man United perspective, we can win the league, 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 we can win the league. And was it Project 21, Project 2028? We can do it because you've got to put it out there and just got to keep believing it, keep believing it. Well, if you've got someone, or you've got millions of people every day on social media telling you you're the best player in the world, you're the best, you're the best player in the world. How it's difficult not to buy into that. Like it's very difficult not to buy into that. So it's a tough challenge for United, and I think I hate when we always just go, standards, but I think it's bigger than that. It's broader than that, and unfortunately, I think it leads to people just needing to be made an example out of. That kind of stuff just won't be tolerated anymore. And unfortunately, and I'm already seeing it in the chat this morning, what incidents like this do, I think, is people then start to lose focus. And this is why I think it was the end of last week or what have you, it was the Sancho story that came up. And I said, I want them all to go just because I'm tired of doing this. I'm just tired of doing this because when this kind of stuff happens, it turns into sides again, doesn't it? No, you're not looking at this properly. It's not Garnacho's fault. It's this person's fault. Or no, it's not Rashford's fault. It's this person's fault. No, it's not Sancho's fault. It's this person's fault. And this person just needs to go. And then then you'll see just across the board, it's just across the board. Of course, these situations are much more complex than just this person is totally in the wrong. Marcus Rashford, he's just completely in the wrong. Man United's completely perfect. They haven't done anything here. Or Jadon Sancho, he's totally in the wrong. Nothing bad happened. It's all on him. Of course not. Of course, as I've said a million times here on the channel, it's shades of grey. Of course, when you have disagreements with two sides, both sides are usually somehow at fault. They've both done things that are wrong. But when you do have situations like this, what you can say is, then just go your separate ways. So in all of these situations, when it comes to Sancho, Rashford, Garnacho, just go your separate ways. Go your separate ways. It's not working out. It's not working out. It hasn't worked out. And the longer that there isn't a solution to all of this is the longer we have these kind of arguments or these kind of debates or these kind of discussions that we've had over and over and over again. We like to talk about break the cycle when it comes to managers or when it comes to, sticking with managers or with signings and all this kind of stuff. We also need to break the cycle when it comes to how we handle these situations, because what we usually do is have this big fallout. You're either Garnacho in or Garnacho out. You're either Rashford in, you're Rashford out, or you're on Team Sancho, you're not on Team Sancho, and then we redo it every 18 months because we don't just sort of rectify the issue. How many times have we had the Sancho discussion? He's been on loan twice, and he can be coming back again. With Rashford, we thought with the Aston Villa thing that was kind of all right. That'll be sorted. He'll either go there or go in the summer. Now we're doing. We're revisiting last sort of November, December, January all over again because we just keep repeating the pattern over and over and over, and it's just tiresome, to be honest. Tabarez says, "Oh, and you forgot my members chat at the start." It didn't come up on my list. Let's have a look, Tabarez. See if it's there. Oh yeah, it didn't. It wasn't at the top. It wasn't at the top. I told you StreamYard hates me. Says, good morning, UV community. Big week ahead. A gut tells me and Booms will be here this week. By the way, I was watching an old UV clip and Owen's glow up is mental. Hey, Tabarez, yeah. I saw because it was I think it was something popped up on my feed, said it was a year ago over the weekend. I think it was England's second game at the Euros. That the Euros were in full swing now, and I saw a clip of myself celebrating that. Good God, what a difference a year could make, folks. Yeah, never too late to get optimized. Eminem says, Owen, I've wanted Garnacho out since January. However, what's the difference between this and Ahmad wearing the Brighton shirt last summer? Well, I know Eminem's big of wanting Garnacho out. And in fairness to Eminem in January was one of the people that was really banging the drum about Garnacho's agents pushing for a move in January, which I do think gets forgotten. I think you're right with the, he was twerking for a move to Chelsea. Like I said, it just comes to all of it. I'm just tired. This club wears you down. It really does. And you know what's mad? Like, when the season finished, there wasn't a lot of optimism, right? There wasn't a lot of optimism, obviously. Worst season ever. Performances were shit. Results were shit. Obviously, we didn't win the Europa League final. But then the season ended. There was this sort of element of, I say optimism, but this element of looking forward. Last season happened. It was rubbish. Can't do anything about it now, but we're looking forward. We're looking forward. Let's get players in. Players can leave. We're looking forward. There was this element of optimism. And I do think that the longer that these situations rumble on for players that, again, it's sort of rooted of past issues, is you can't then move on, can you? That's the issue. And as far as, looking back to when this person did it or when this person did it, I mean, again, there's different context in it, isn't there? So Ahmad's, he's wearing a Brighton shirt or whatever, but it's also not in a period of time where everyone expects Ahmad to leave, and Ahmad's, I know, siblings haven't been going out on social media and annoying people after the worst season ever. But again, it's just drama. It's just unnecessary drama. What the real focus should be on right now, you look at clubs like, say, Liverpool, or you look at clubs like, say, City. What are they talking about? They're talking about getting people through the door, getting people in for next season. Not, this player wants to leave, but he hasn't been moved on, and this hasn't happened, or that one hasn't happened. It's just tiresome. Mav says, man, you don't bring through people who want to be footballers, but people who want to live the life of a footballer. Well, again, I think there could be an argument made that there's never been a bigger gap now between, the fans of a football team and the players themselves. Like that relatability factor just doesn't really exist nowadays. How can it? How can any of you, unless you are like a multimillionaire or what have you, a multimillionaire athlete, how can we relate to a lot of those players on the pitch? That's why sometimes people do, that's why people sort of fell in love with people like Wayne Rooney, let's say, when he was coming through, because he was this sort of everyman, wasn't he? You could relate. You could see yourself, growing up playing football out on the streets or in like in a state or whatever, or down the local park. You're like, I can relate to that. Not very refined, not very sort of brand savvy, PR savvy. Just wanted to play football. Didn't really give a shit about that. And now it's so far removed from that, because now there's just so much money in it. There's agents, there's PR, with say social media, a lot of them don't even really control their profiles. It goes through a whole approval process. We're thinking about putting this post out. You happy with that? Yeah, I'm happy with that. Or the player goes to or messages someone who runs their account, put something out about, it was a disappointing result today and we'll go again next time. Okay, you happy with this? Yeah, go with that. It just isn't relatable. And I think from their perspective, looking at it from their perspective, they're in this bubble. So they probably don't sometimes get the outrage. They'll be like, well, what are they talking about? Why are they so pissed off? Or why are they so obsessed with me? Or why are they doing that? It's because there's just this disconnect. There's not a lot of points of being relatable anymore. And I think as fans, we're like, you just don't get it. And they don't get it. But then I think they as players look at us as fans and go, you just don't get it. And we don't get it. we don't. We are emotional about what, is a business. And they'll be looking at it going, well, this is a career. This is my career. I can't get overly emotional about it. You know, it has to be what's best for me and best for my family. Whereas we look at it and go, yeah, but it has to be what's best for the club and this, that, and the other. And there's just no, there's just no relatability when it comes to it. And that's just, that's just what football is nowadays, isn't it? And I suppose if I spoke to my my nephew, who's 13, you know, and he's a big football fan, I'm sure that he'd just be like, well, you know, that's what football is. You know, you're fans of football players nowadays, not necessarily fans of football teams. It's it's just, I guess that's just where football is. Kristen says, if El Captain, Reckless Delegate, wore won a United shirt on this channel, allegedly a Chelsea fan, does he get banned from the channel? Is that the case? Is that a situation that's going on right now over at KG Reckless Sports? I haven't been up to date on that one. Wow, you know. But to be fair, you know, I don't think there was a thing saying you had to be a United fan, I suppose, to win the shirt. It's always good, I suppose, if it goes to a United fan, but statistically, not every single people watching, I suppose, are always going to be United fans, perhaps. Kay says, was been a member for 26 months, says Liverpool fans only had to deal with the Trent situation and they couldn't bear it. We have so many of those within our club and it wears us down. You know what? That is so true. That is so true, Kay. Look at that. Look at that situation with Trent and how badly, of course, the Liverpool fans took that. You don't understand. You can't tell us how to feel. He's been learning Spanish for ages. He's been doing this. He's been doing that. And he turned his back on us, blah, blah, blah. That's one player. And it happens once in a blue moon for them. Very, very, very rarely. We have to deal with something like this. How frequently we have to deal with a situation like this. You're right, Kay. It wears you down. That is exactly where I'm at with it. Where if it was just one situation and it happened rarely, then you go, okay, it's mad, but all right. But when it's like every season, David De Gea, Cristiano Ronaldo, Paul Pogba, Jesse Lingard, Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, Alejandro Garnacho, you're just like, oh, I just don't have the energy. I don't have the energy. Because once those sagas are over, like, say, when the Ronaldo thing happened with Piers Morgan, the interview, and once it was done, I was like, oh, thank God it's done. Like, it's because it gets so toxic. It gets so toxic. And it is just so tiring. Like, it will just wear you down. T says, Amorim gives me toxic Mourinho vibes. Why do we back this guy over the players when every player in that team has contributed more than him? You know what, T? You've exactly proved my point of what I said about 5 minutes ago. This is why I want it to be over with, because it starts this. It starts exactly this. No, it's not. It's not Garnacho's fault. It's Amorim's fault. No, it's not Ronaldo's fault. It's Ten Hag's fault. No, it wasn't De Gea's fault. It was this person's fault. No, it was this person. Then that leads to, here we go again, player FC over manager FC, blah, 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 blah. It's literally, we just go in circles. We just go in circles. It's constantly go in circles. And it's bad. Where are we at in terms of likes? We've got close to 1,500 people watching. So if you haven't already, click the like button. We are at 345 likes. Let's see if we can get to 500, about 150 away. So be sure to click the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Reminder, red carpet there tonight, 7 p.m. I'm sure it's going to be a big show with lots of discussion, hopefully about incomings and stuff that develops through the day. Obviously, I'm sure there'll be a lot of discussion and debate about the situation with, Garnacho, Rashford, Sancho, etc. KG had some very, very strong words for Marcus Rashford on the Trinity on Friday. He was lit up, to say the least, wasn't he? My goodness me. He was angry with Marcus Rashford on Friday. The venom that came out of him. So it'll be interesting to see what he says indeed. A little bit on Jadon Sancho, since we're talking about exits. And once again, it just goes to show, I suppose, the difficulty here when it comes to Sancho and the ability to move Jadon Sancho on this summer. because a new report from these are reports in Italy as well as possibly in Turkey are suggesting that Napoli sporting director Giovanni Manna on Jadon Sancho said, "Our offer is clear. We will not pay Sancho's requested salary." Once again, same issue as it was at Chelsea. It's about salary. It's about the contract. It's about people looking at this situation and going, we're not gonna pay that. It's crazy. Now, in terms of other potential destinations, Alfredo Padula says Fenerbahce and another club have inquired about Jadon Sancho. No decision yet. I don't know where Jadon Sancho is going to go. Genuinely, I don't know. I think I really thought the best situation for him was going to be going to Chelsea. I thought, look, yeah, you have got to take a pay cut. If you're successful, you can make it back, with the incentivized wage structure that they've got. And, you're wanted there. They did want him. They did try to make a move happen, but obviously couldn't come to terms because he didn't want to do the wage cut. So now I'm just going, well, then who would be willing? And I mean, we're basically asking teams around the world, can you just be as stupid as us? Sins of the past. Can you just pick up this silliness that we did, because we don't want to do that anymore? And I'm not sure. By the way, guys, look, I saw when I hate to harken back to this, but I saw when we were talking about, that Garnacho stuff, people were saying, move on, don't want to talk about it anymore. This is when we get into this programming war, when people are like, don't talk about the news. I want to talk about something else. Samuel Luckhurst I just put out a story from the Manchester Evening News commenting on this Alejandro Garnacho situation, but also not only just commented on it, basically saying Marcus Rashford's full of shit by saying, despite saying the my brother thing, he doesn't like him. Let's have a look. This is what Samuel Luckhurst said. It says, despite Marcus Rashford's my brother comment on Alejandro Garnacho's latest Instagram post, the pair have only ever socialized during Manchester United's team bonding dinners. One of Rashford's inner circle also once dubbed him a fucking Ronaldo wannabe. Oh, this is what I mean, guys. This is exactly what I mean. Oh, it's just so tiring. It's just so oh, where it's literally. It's just, that might be true. It might not be true. It might be one of those ones where I don't even like Garnacho, but yeah, fuck Man United. Yeah, my brother, blah blah blah. Or, he might be like, yeah, no, that's not true. That's not true. And actually, if Luckhurst's sources, are even accurate in that one, so he's had that in his pocket. It is in his pocket for ages going, oh, these are fucking Ronaldo wannabe. Grandpa says surrender pot. I mean, obviously, Samuel Luckhurst is just doing that. But and this is the point, we put ourselves in a position for the pot to be stirred, though, don't we? The fact that there is a pot to stir is a problem at United. So now, not only have you got Alejandro Garnacho coming out wearing an Aston Villa shirt which says Rashford on the back, sending a message without speaking. You've then got Marcus Rashford commenting on the post. My brother basically been like, look, we're both being forced out. We're both leaving. It's us against them. Screw them. It doesn't matter. And then you got another report, another article now coming out going, by the way, they're saying that. They don't even like each other. They've only socialized at team bonding sessions. I don't even know if they've got each other's numbers on their phone, but they're just doing it just to screw over Man United. They're backstabbers to each other and also the club. What kind of circus? I mean, we're going to be a stadium in a tent fairly soon, hopefully, but the club's already in a tent. It's already a circus. What other club does this happen at? What other club in the Premier League, certainly, does this happen at? Post goes out, another player that's leaving, he comments on it. Then the journalists come out and go, by the way, they didn't even like each other. Someone close to him says he's a fucking Ronaldo wannabe. Ha, 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 ha. Meanwhile, you've got United sitting there going, this is like a shitty episode of EastEnders. Not even good. Get Grant and Phil back in. Zoe Slater's just come back to Walford. Well, I put Rashford and Garnacho in there. It's in theme. It's just, oh. And we said earlier about the Trent thing. The Trent thing was mad and Liverpool fans were unhappy and blah, 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 blah. They've moved on. We're still dealing with it. We're still dealing with it. As Compost Smurf says, I wasn't a bit of a slag. I was a total slag. Yeah. I didn't say he was a bit of a Ronaldo wannabe. I said he was a fucking Ronaldo wannabe. Oh. This club's making me lose my hair, folks. I'm telling you. It is. I'm going to end up like KG. I'm going to have wing back soon myself. Simon says, please move on, Owen. This is ridiculous. I tried. Literally tried. I started on Sancho, and then this got put out there. It never ends. This is the point. I tried.
Red flag.
Oh, honestly. Right. We're less than 100 likes away from 500 likes. If you haven't already, click the like button. Honestly. T says, exactly my point. The board should be in control until Amarim proves himself. A manager that broke all records and finished 15th shouldn't have this much power. Look, I was so happy for a couple of weeks, when I thought last season was over and we were moving on and we're just right back in it again, aren't we? This is why I'm scared of preseason. I'm scared of the preseason fixtures, genuinely. This is why I say pressure's on them, because if we have a negative result, it's got all hell's going to break loose. It really will. Super Art says, we dug our own grave with many of these players. We paid them high too soon after one semi-successful season, Shaw and many others included. Indeed, that's why I was big on the, with this whole Cobby situation, and people are like, just give him what he wants. If he wants 200k or 250, just give him, give him the money. I'm like, no, no, because we can't have these conversations again and then be like, oh, we did it again. You're right. We do. If we think we've got someone that's half decent, we'll just like throw money at them. And then naturally, when they drop off after a year or so or 18 months or so, we go, we can't do anything about it. What are we gonna do? We put ourselves in this situation. So even the current negotiations that we're in now with players, don't do it. Just don't do it. Just don't give in and just hold your nerve. It's so tiresome. Oh my goodness, so tiresome. So yes, Napoli won't pay Sancho's wages, and a little bit here on the Emi Martinez story, which dominated much of last week, and now turns out probably isn't even that much of a thing anymore, because Mike McGrath is saying that Manchester United are not currently looking at signing Emi Martinez. As kind of got broken, really. Shout out James. I got some shit on, shockingly, I know, social media, because I said, look, Tier 1 James, he did it again. He was on the Trinity Friday live, 4 p.m. And he said, look, for me, what I'm hearing and what I think is that a lot of this Emi Martinez stuff is heavy lifting, as he described it. It's a lot of heavy lifting from the agent. It's the agent trying to get the move, and it's the agent really trying to force that one into existence. And it was, it might have literally been 15 minutes, 30 minutes after we finished that show that I think it was Nathan Salt from the Mail came out and said that basically the agent's really pushing for it. Agent's really pushing for the move. Agent really wants to move. I think Ben Jacobs kind of echoed something a bit similar, not as much as Nathan Salt did, but said that the agent's really pushing for that move. Which I'm glad to hear that, because of course, if you watched the shows last week, you would have seen it that 40 million price tag was just it really did boggle the mind, didn't it? I know he's got a long contract, and that's basically what they were trying to judge the value of. They were saying, well, he signed a new contract last year until 2029. So because he signed a contract for that long, he's got a high price point, so 40 million. But the reality is 40 million pounds for a goalkeeper. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I saw some people trying this, and this is when you go to these sort of straw arm arguments, trying to go, if social media was around when Manchester United bought Edwin van der Sar, they'd be complaining about that one too, wouldn't they? That's what they'd be doing. You go, well, no, they wouldn't. Okay. Edwin van der Sar had an established career. On top of that, we signed him for 2 million. If we signed a goalkeeper this summer, let's say he was 36 or whatever, or 35, but it was £2 million, I don't think people would complain that much. They go, you know what? 2 million. Screw it. It's 2 million quid. Who cares? And particularly if it was a goalkeeper that was still playing high profile in the Premier League, was still played for Fulham at the time, Premier League goalkeeper, had a big history of playing for big clubs, Ajax, Juventus, etc. Like that. Why would you complain about that? But that's not the situation here. The situation here is Emi Martinez for 40 million pounds. As I've said many a time here on this show, the goalkeeping market out there, you can get a half-decent goalkeeper for 10 million, 15 million. Just look at the goalkeepers that have already been sold this summer. They are not expensive. And the vast, vast, vast majority are better than what we've got right now. What we've got in Andre Onana and Altay Bayindir is not good enough. Bless Tom Heaton, but he's there just for experience and he knows the club. He's not going to play, is he? Obviously. So the two goalkeepers that actually could play aren't good enough. So go out there. And I know that Onana's doing the same thing that every player that we want to leave does, which is, I want to stay and fight for my place. I'm going to stay and fight for my place. Well, okay, if you want to go and stay and fight for your place, fine. Altay, you can go to Turkey or somewhere. I think his book value is something like 6-7 million quid. Right, we'll do that, and then we'll just at least we can have like 10 million to spend on a goalkeeper. We can find one. At the very least, they can compete with Andre Onana. And frankly, if they compete and they can just save the ball a little bit, they're number one as far as I'm concerned. They'll have the number one number anyway because Onana's number 24, but they'll have it. So go and find a goalkeeper. I don't see why you can't for a small amount of money. They can do it. They can do that. And if not, then you can't be shocked when there's at this stage, if Andre Onana goes into a third season with Manchester United as the regular starting goalkeeper, when he makes the mistakes, because he will, I don't even think we can get angry at him for making the mistakes. We know he's going to do it. Do you get angry at a bird for flying? He's going to do it. Do you get angry at a bird for shitting on your shoulder? It's going to happen eventually. You can't go through life and it not happen. Oh, you bloody bird. I was like, wow, it's taking a dump in the air. Yeah, that's what they do. Andre Onana makes mistakes. So that's what it's about. The blame's on you. Blame's on you for not doing anything about it. You knew it was a problem and you haven't fixed it. So I'm still holding out hope, or trying to at least, for a goalkeeper. But it's not going to be Emi Martinez, certainly, which I'm fine. I'm fine with that. No problem. Not Emi Martinez. Cool. Not an issue. Oh, there you go. As the MDR says, I'm 54, not had a bird shit on me. Don't know if that's a euphemism. That's probably a bit much for a breakfast show, to be honest with you. I hope you mean the flying animal. If not, a bit weird. Eminem says, United's use of the media, especially Lucas, is just as bad. Remember 10 plus outlets posting the Rashi being up for sale in November within the same hour and their own sources. What other club does this? And this is what I was mentioning earlier on as well, Eminem. This is also why I'm tired of it. Because you get this. You get the, no, he didn't start it. They started it. No, this wasn't, Rashford. It was the club that did it first. And no, Rashford did it first by Belfast and this, that, and the other. It's just tiring, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's like being in a couple that argues all the time. Eventually you just get bored, don't you? Go, come on. We argue every day. Just don't enjoy it like I used to. It's just too much. It's too much indeed. So there you go. There's a transfer view for you this morning, folks. How many likes did we end up at? We've still got over 1,500 people watching. We're about 35 likes away from 500. So if you haven't already, click the like button. Be sure to subscribe as we get closer to 200K. A reminder, red carpet this evening, 7 p.m. Should be a jam-packed show. Should be an exciting show. So be sure to join us live for that one. More content coming on the Football Flex this week. Content coming on my channel, RMS News 365. It's Night of Champions on Saturday in Saudi. If the event goes ahead, there's a bit of discussion whether or not it's even going to happen. But I'll be live for that on Saturday at a good time as well. It'll be like 5 o'clock in the evening. So if you haven't already, go over there. We're aiming for like 400 away now from less than 400 away from 23K. So growing. So that should be good. And I think that's it. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. After the red carpet this evening and Flex and KG show tomorrow as well. It's going to be a jam-packed week here at United View. And hopefully, of course, if we get any breaking transfer news or what have you, we will be live. I will be here. You can't see it, but I'm actually chained to this desk right now. This is what United View does to me. Yeah. That's how I really lost the weight. Hunger strike. Anyway, guys, I'm out of here. Have a good one. Peace.